What's up? This is Copy Who, and I am your host, Paul the producer. What's going on, everybody? It's a new day. I've been hard at work this week making some improvements. I'm not completely resolved on certain things, but I'm over the hump of the hardest parts, and I'm happy about that. There's a new something or other going on here. I was working really hard on this. This is something I'm going to be calling The Rise because I copy. Right, copy? That's what I do. I copy. That's right. I'm just basking in the glow of this right now. I'm actually anxious because I'm so happy to be doing this in an actual show for the first time. I spent hours and hours a few days ago assembling this riser for this television. I went to Best Buy. I got a 65-inch Samsung, upgraded to 65-inch, put a new background back there with the old 55-inch, and what can I say? I'm delighted. I've been getting everything ready to go with all of this, and it's fun for me, all right? I have been practicing with all the technical movements that I have to make, lights on and off, and timing it with music and going up. And it's something I was even like practicing this in the shower. I'm like, okay, ring light, boom, boom, flashing light simultaneous with the music, and then changing the video over to the second camera at the exact same moment. This thing starts to rise over here, and the music has to hit the beat, and all the timing has to be right. So we'll see how this goes. The weak link has been the Elgato ring light. But without further ado, I want to do this to get it out of the way so that I can just move forward. This stupid rise, it seems like I'm building all the expectation up for it right now. And let's hope this one goes off perfectly without a hitch. The last practice I did earlier today went off beautifully. I'm building it up to be like this great, amazing thing. And people are going to be like, what the fuck? So there's something to this here. This is like a symbol of decadence right now. You know, this is a symbol of the end of an empire, that an individual like me can do something like this, a one-man show, just be so unnecessarily, gratuitously decadent with something. But shall we do this? Because I'm excited. I'm excited for this, and I don't feel like I can talk about anything until I get over this, because this is what I'm wet with anticipation to do. I am copying you-know-who. Gratuitously, and I'm not the least bit sorry about it. I'm excited about it. I'm grateful for the inspiration this guy has provided me with over the years, even though he's probably, but I mean, I bet you I've inspired him even though he wouldn't even admit it, because he's so great. He just has all the original ideas and he needs credit for everything. But whatever, dude. Anyway, without further ado, this is what I want to do right now. So I'm so excited. Let's see if I can get through this, okay? My mind, I actually have adrenaline I'm feeling right now, and I'm so excited to do this, okay? Here we go. Are you ready to go with me? Are you ready to enjoy this? This is going to be the first of many. I'm going to hopefully get better at this every time I do it. I'm going to be silly. I'm going to think of different things to say and be goofy. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute to get through this bit. And I'm going to do it every single show. And I'm going to try to improve things. Like back here, I have a blank wall that you'll see before this thing goes up. And eventually I will get some decorations on there because everything has to be full. Everything has to be beautiful, perfect, perfection, amazing production. That all matters to me. My goodness, I do have things I want to get to. I'm 4 minutes in and I really want to talk about some things. So I'm going to start this now. And I'm going to begin it by going, na na na. No, it goes like this. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Come on now. Come on now. Rise. 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 How you doing, my birdies? Yes, I copy thee, Mike. I copy you! And I thank you for all the inspiration all these years. I thank you because I've moved on and on. I've learned from you. I've become a better producer because of you. It's great. It's fun. I love it. Thank you, dude. Thank you. How are you doing, my birdies? Yes, that was wonderful. Love it. Love it. Right. Enjoying the shit out of myself doing something so unnecessary and so silly. And what can I say? Thank you to everyone who actually appreciates what I'm doing here. Ha ha ha, that went off quite nicely. And one more light I'm waiting for here. Yes. Yes. That went so nicely. Thank you. Thank you. Now it went over well. I hope the power doesn't go out. I hope nothing else happens to interrupt this show because it's off to a great start. Let's have a good show, shall we? Oh, man, I've been working on that so hard this week. It's all been culminating. It's all meant to come to that right there. And I do love it. Let's take a look at it back up on the wall there. It's so cool. So cool. I'm so stoked to have that there. Yes, I almost said the R word. Never mind what the R word was. Try to avoid the R word is my philosophy right now. What last few nights I watched Steven Crowder. I'm a little disappointed actually because I know I'm having very disappointing downloads on these shows, and I do think it's because the algorithm fucks me because I just say pretty much anything I want about anything. And so that brings me to my point that if I'm not destined to be big on YouTube, it's unfortunate because I do think they have the best features and platform for all sorts of things that benefit a show format like this. This is an independent one-man show. I really love doing it. I really enjoy myself doing it. And so much goes into it for me. And it's a passion for me. Obviously, it's a passion. It's more than a hobby. And I'm really so when I show my parents what I'm doing, the other night I streamed a video on my mom's TV in her bedroom, and she was like, "Can you make any money with this?" And that's what people very often say. And I would hope so. But right now, what I want to do is build my following, and my following will have to understand eventually that I would like to monetize. But I'm also going to build this out. It's going to change over time. I'm going to have other side to this here where there's someone sitting over there with a microphone, hopefully, and they're talking to me, and I'll have a camera on them, and I'll have a shot of the two of us. So so I have to upgrade my computer to be able to do that. Anyway, my point is I watched Steven Crowder twice this week when AJ was on there. I say AJ because the algorithm is so FUCT that it'll probably penalize me for referring to him. But AJ was on there from IW, and he talked extensively about migrating. Who talked? Steven talked extensively about migrating from YouTube to Rumble, and it's been a smashing success for them. And he's very enthusiastically encouraging people to migrate over there. And so I'm going to get more serious about putting my stuff up there religiously because I do think their format and their platform is going to improve. Technically, YouTube has many more features, and eventually Rumble will catch up because Rumble is especially touting that they want to have more free speech on their network. They call themselves a free speech network, and thus far they are more so than YouTube. But people need to have both worlds they work in, YouTube and Rumble. And sometimes I'm thinking about investing some money into stock for Rumble, but then there's also this other school of thought going on in my head about how the world is crumbling, it's dying, and the world as we know it, the financial system's going to crash. And so I'm like second guessing what I need to do. I have ideas about what I need to do to sustain through something chaotic, and it's not all easy. I just went yesterday and I bought, I bought what I think was, okay, hold on. My sister just texted me, which is fine. I just don't want to be interrupted by that constantly. I was talking about yesterday, I bought a bunch of new pairs of underwear, not because I need them right now. I already had new underwear unopened in a package, but I wanted more because I'm like, the world is gonna come crashing down, and eventually I won't be able to buy things without a carbon footprint or something. And I'm like thinking, I keep thinking about how I'm gonna sustain without having to go to that system at all, and I'm mortified about it. I'm also like, I bought socks yesterday, like $100 worth of socks, $100 worth of underwear. That sounds insane, but I don't want to like have my underwear start falling apart and have no means to buy underwear. So I'm stocking up on all sorts of things around my house that in anticipation of the world getting FUCT. Alrighty then, let's move on from that though. But I do plan to move over. I do plan to start making the videos I have available online mirrored on Rumble religiously on a regular basis, because I think it's going to pay off probably more over there, trying to build that platform over there. And when like I've said this before, when I get enough subscribers, I'm going to start doing live broadcasts over there, probably one live a week. And if I start getting in that routine, maybe they'll constantly become live. And I would record this video simultaneously with it going live, and then it would save me the time of like having to put it online over there. But let's move on, shall we? I've had some amazing dreams this week. The night before last, I dreamt that I had a woman friend, a girlfriend, a very close woman that I was intimate with, and she looked like Jennifer Connelly, only like a younger version of Jennifer Connelly, probably between 30 and 35 in my dream. And we were hugging on each other, kissing, and I got so aroused by this. Honestly, it's amazing how little can happen in a dream, and it becomes very, sexually arousing in the nether regions, I like to say. And so I woke up, and all day long I had this sustained feeling of like my body injected a bunch of endorphins or hormones into me, and all day I felt like I was hugging on this woman, and it was just something that went on all day, and then it fades as the day goes on, and then we're back to the end of the day feeling lonely again. But it actually felt like when I woke up yesterday that I wasn't totally alone. Dreams are weird, so I'm hoping there's something about destiny unfolding, and that dreams will be my future. These positive dreams every night before I go to bed. I actually pray that I have uplifting dreams, positive dreams, inspiring dreams, life-affirming dreams. I said inspiring, and that's just my routine. Last night's dreams were varied and interesting also. I dreamt I was in the karaoke bar, which is something I've done a lot of in the past. I still practice singing during the week. It's been about once or twice a week usually lately that I'm practicing singing. I'm learning a handful of new songs. I know a large set list of songs that I can sing if the karaoke track is right. And so I dreamt I was waiting for my chance to sing in the karaoke bar. And it was like a smaller version. I felt like I was in a smaller room at the karaoke bar than the actual karaoke bar where I go. It's this bigger, nice, comfortable bar area. But for some reason in my dream, it was smaller. I was sitting at a table. There was a bowl of peas, the little vegetable peas, that you eat, the green little round circular spherical peas is what they are. And then there was a spoon, and I wanted to eat the peas, but I was paranoid that the spoon was dirty, that someone had been using it and eating it with it, and that there were germs. And so I didn't want to use it. And I remember that. And then that dream swiftly came to an end because I woke up and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was blessed last night, got a very good night's sleep, came back from the bathroom, got back in bed, went back to bed, and I had another dream that was like an under-the-sea water adventure. I was driving around in a submarine vehicle of some kind, back and forth through all these earth formulations way at the bottom of the ocean. And I remember this guy who was driving it was going into this sort of tunnel in the water, and I wish I had visuals I could show you, but the walls that we were going in this cave were like so detailed and bright and well lit, cinematic, I would say. This dream was so vivid, and so we came after doing this for a while, and I was like, wow, this is. I actually made a note of it when I was like, these not walls, they were like rock formations. They were so vivid and detailed that I made a note of it in my dream, how extraordinary they were and beautiful and colorful. And then I came to the surface of the water, and for some reason, it was like the underwater sea vehicle was like a convertible, and so the top opened up on it, and underneath the fabric of the rooftop that opened up, there were like these disgusting, dangerous gremlin like creatures trying to attack me and the others that I was with at the time. And so that's just dream time with Paul. Maybe that's one of the segments I should have on this show, is make a note of my dreams and come on here and talk about them and have like a little intro here. So this show is going to evolve more and more. Let me just tell you a little about how, like, I've been inspired by other shows I've been watching. It's not all RB with MD. That would exactly tell people who I'm talking about, if you know who I'm talking about. But I was watching even Steven Crowder's show. I watch what other people are doing, all kinds of people. And they have these little, and including Rian Stone, including Steven Crowder this week, including Alex Jones, seeing what he's doing. Didn't mean to mention his name. Is the algorithm going to fuck me now? Other people as well, just how they break away during their show for just a brief moment to catch a breath and whatever. And I might like figure out a way to do that every 20 or 30 minutes, have these little breaker things. Even I might want to be able to take as much as 2 minutes to go pee. And I don't think that I can pee in 2 minutes. It might have to be longer than that, but then I can come back in and mix myself in as we go. Anyway, my point being that I want more dynamic graphics inserted. I want to improve my intros. I want to make this background right here more dynamic. I'm excited about it. I was going to say something about Sterling Cooper, but I'm going to wait, and I'm going to probably save that for next time. So, but let's begin, shall we? I have a clip here of a woman singing, or I should say brutalizing, Ronnie James Dio's Holy Diver. So I know Ronnie, I have him sitting here in Funko form, and he's much better than this lady was. Let me just come over here and show you. All right, and so yes, here we go. I'm going to play this for you now, and we're just going to comment on how shitty it is. This won't take long. I want to die. God, I want to die. There's a cat in the middle coming after you, holy diver. Sacrilegious, right, Ronnie? Damn. Yeah. That's embarrassing, lady. I'm embarrassed.
Shall we pray?
So I don't even want to hear what everyone has to say. It's horrible shit, and I wanted to show everyone that. That's sacrilegious to Dio. And I'm talking Ronnie James Dio. It's blasphemous to Ronnie James Dio, not actually God. I'm just sort of, he took the name Dio. And when I say Dio, I don't usually think God, even though I know that word means Dio in Italian. I just happen to know that. No close-up shots. The camera's not there today for my little birdies and Ronnie, okay? Sorry, you guys. I will catch up. I've been very busy this week. You've watched me put this thing up, and it's all for you. It's for all of us, really, okay? Oh, that's the first time I said okay, I think in 19 minutes. I'm doing very well if I'm doing it once every 20 minutes. It was much more frequent before. Oh, yes, I can turn this off now because... Good. What's next, my lovey-doveys? What is next here? We have... Here's something on, so I'm going to go like this over here. And you can see that come over there like that, but then I'm going to go to Chat AP. And I'm going to read what we have here. If you were a member of Congress, I want to just discuss this a little bit. If you're a member of Congress, would you keep or ban TikTok? And so I understand some of what they're talking about. China having private information about American citizens and tracking their user info, maybe their login info. So would I ban TikTok? And frankly, along with answering that question, we might as well actually keep it if we're not going to be honest about other forms of social media and how those are deleterious to human beings, humanity, and society. Phone apps and phones are just made like dopamine jackpot machines, okay? And so everybody is using them, and everybody who's using them is somewhat short circuiting their dopamine receptors. It's causing anxiety, it's causing depression with people. I know this has been studied, and I'm not referring to studies, I'm talking about it philosophically. I'm shooting from the hip because I think a lot of common sense is derived from just thinking critically and honestly about it. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, other form, like you can probably talk about Truth Social. And what's the other one? I want to look on my phone. I'm forgetting the other one that's pretty popular, and it's very conservative oriented, and it's called, where are we here? I have it. Getter. It's called Getter. All these things create this dopamine cycle that causes people to be addicted to these things, and it also does a disservice to people who want to live a natural life, get together, meet with one another in person, see one another, smell one another in the company of one another, hear the voices, see the mannerisms, all of the above. This is what I've called for so many years. I've called it a pseudo social experience. It's a surrogate social experience. It substitutes for real life experience, and people are using it instead of like to encourage social activity. People are actually, what am I trying to say here? People are actually using it to keep others at an arm's length. I know I've done that myself, and I know others have done that with me. And that's a sad state of affairs when we're evolving into this species where we sit alone in a room on our phones and on our devices, and we don't socialize properly anymore. So if we're not going to ban all the other negative social media apps, I wouldn't die. I wouldn't be miserable if Facebook went away or Instagram, all these things, because it would cause people, me, everyone, to go out of their way to connect with one another in natural ways, like old-fashioned ways that were better. They evolved that way naturally. Living naturally is the better way, in my opinion, than these novel adaptations we're having to endure with the rapid change in the world. The way that we socialize has changed dramatically for human beings, and I'm not happy about it personally. I want to see things change. I'm thinking about other things I've said about social media before that I think, in addition to the depression and the dopamine, the negativity, that it seems like they deliberately try to stoke conflict between people because that is what makes people spend more hours on these things all the time. And so it causes a lot of division. It polarizes people. It's also a most intimate way to get into people's minds and manipulate them. People are very vulnerable to manipulation. I want to bring up this book again. I'm always bringing this book up when I'm talking here frequently lately. And so I'm going to keep it right here because people are vulnerable to all sorts of manipulations socially, mentally, and I don't think there's ever been anything like it in human history like the last few years, the last 5 to 10 years, the last 15 years, especially since the advent of the internet. But when smartphones came along, so much has changed, and it has really done a disservice to the harmony that people should be living in society. It's sad to me, extremely sad, that things aren't more normal right now. And this book, this guy, it was published, this author's awesome, Just Merleau. This was recommended to me by my cousin. This was published in, I believe, 1956. And it's a book of psychology written by this psychologist, Just Merleau. And it just talks about how even that was like 70 years ago. So all those years ago, he already knew how vulnerable people were to the early manifestations of mass media. And we are living in such an era that is so pervasive. It's so novel. It's a novel context. The parallels with history in conjunction with the new novel things happening, which are absolutely crazy and disturbing. I personally want to divert and go back down a trajectory of naturalism with the way we live. And here, this is coming from a guy who just fucking lifted a TV up on a mechanical riser and played music and flashing lights. And so, totally natural, right? This is for entertainment purposes. But believe me, when I'm done with this and I go out there, I want to spend time outside, sit in parks, frolic in the public square with a beautiful woman and have the wind blowing in our hair as we embrace. And the natural hormones that result from that. I love all of that. Wonderful. That's the way I want to live. That's the way I want to be. I am so thirsty and it's real. What do I have next on this list for you, my lovey doveys? I think I have another Twitter here. The next Twitter it's actually, I'm just following up on what I said about Rian Stone last time. Okay. And you know what? Second occasion of saying okay. And it doesn't count when I'm referring to having said it, but let us continue here. So we were going through this last time. I had a tweet where I was responding to him saying his attitude is like this. The red pill is always going to be sexual strategy, positive male identity. Always was, always will be. That's what Rian said to me. And so I said, always was, always will be. Wow, it sounds like a deity. The red pill is a metaphor for awareness that transcends beyond sexual strategy and positive male identity. How do you propose to contain it to that definition indefinitely? Math can do that, but this concept can't. So just to let you know, Rian, I was not being rhetorical. Like, I would like a real answer from you when I say that. And so Ryan's response to me was, actually, let's go back here. His response to me was, go get him, Tiger. And so, but let me come up here and show you. He said sexual strategy, positive male identity, always was, always will be. 9 people like it. There are really people who are hardcore invested in wanting the concept of the red pill to be exclusively confined to this notion of the manosphere and intersexual dynamics. And that is rubbish. It's rubbish. Complete rubbish. And I understand that you have your niche you work in with it. And maybe you feel it benefits you because you're just staying in that lane. And if you read, it's like, I grift in God, I grift like Godzilla and in everything and all that I want. And I wish I had a soundtrack recording right now. When I say I'm Godzilla, I want to hear it be like, anyway, yes, Rian. So there's so much more to the red pill. I will keep repeating it until I'm blue in the face. The red pill. And it doesn't matter. Whatever people think, like, whatever. It's not like I'm totally invested in it one way or another. I like the manosphere, and that's part of what I want to comment on are these issues between sexual interdynamics between men and women and so forth, and dating, and the evolution of men and women throughout the course of history, etc. But the red pill's so much more. The red pill, the concept of the red pill preceded the proliferation of the manosphere. The concept, it was brought to my attention anyway by the metaphor in the movie The Matrix. And I can actually go to something here. Let's see. Red pill Matrix GIF. Okay, we'll come over here to images. You'll see what I'm doing here momentarily, okay? Kind of a proper use for images. Oh, let me come over here and go. Yeah, it's Morpheus, dude. Okay, so we don't have the red pill in this picture, though, eh? Let's come here really quick and look at that. Whoa, that's an animated GIF with the flickering red pill. And so this screen is bigger. That's one of the benefits of what we're doing here now. Oh, I love the cinematography on this. So this is a GIF from the Matrix right here. What? Oh, hold on. Let's come back out. Go like so. I had my button on there. Yeah, so there's red pill, or there's Neo taking the red pill. The red pill, Ryan, hate to break it to you, it's broad awareness about everything. It's not just the manosphere. It's broad awareness about everything and all that matters. The scope of existence, the deception of government, discerning whether there's a God or not. The concept is not merely limited to, say, male-female sexual interdynamics. And that's what I wanted to say to him. And that's critical thinking about it to me, you know, because the other day I was talking about how he says there's no such thing as critical thinking. Of course there is. Critical thinking is being able to take any given subject and start looking at it and like take a baseline about what you're talking about, informing yourself, and critically thinking about it means like taking what is true about it, objective about it, and understanding it clearly. Yes, there's some overlap in calling that knowledge, but critical thinking is a modality and objectivity is critical to the concept. Objectivity is paramount to the concept. Anyhow, Ryan, sir, I'm going to close this window out and we're going to move on. I've talked enough about Rian Stone, at least for the week. I was going to say for a lifetime, but I will come back to him because I like him. I will continue watching Red Morning, probably tomorrow morning when I work out. Actually, I might watch the Fireside Chat with Dennis Prager. That's usually what I do, and that's available first and foremost. So Ryan, moving on from Ryan, we're going to hear about Bill Maher really quick. Oh, no. What is the timeline on this for me? I want to go to 5:15 in the timeline and talk about this because I'm just flabbergasted at this Shiite. And yeah, okay. Let me come over here like so. And we'll come up here and we will come over to 5:15 in the timeline. This is about San Francisco and its crazy reparations ideas.
Rants. Also this, Bill Maher tearing into San Francisco's potential reparations for slavery. Proposals include a $5 million payment to black residents.
That's insane.
And a complete clearing of personal...
That's insane. A complete clearing of personal debt, she's saying. Giving every single black resident $5 million. Do you know what that'll do to inflation? What kind of contemplation is this? This is equity trying to like enforce equal outcomes for people when what you need is equal opportunity and everyone needs to go work their hardest to achieve things. I mean, this is quintessential wacky equity up your ass imposed on you. What would that do to the average taxpayer? How much does the average taxpayer have to pay out in order to cover all these people getting $5 million? $97K guaranteed incomes for 250 years? That's insane. That's universal income. Just here's a home for $1. These are not normal economics. Like, what are you thinking by wanting to do this? This is outrageous. And it's especially outrageous because people existing right now did not own slaves 200 years ago, and holding people responsible by way of a taxation fine who did not commit that crime against humanity should not be held responsible for it. It's madness. This is utter, sheer, complete, total madness. Let me continue playing here.
And black Americans who also reportedly get an annual income of at least $97,000 for 250 years and will be allowed to buy homes within the city limits for $1 a home.
$1.
Here is
So,
Bill Maher.
excuse me, let me just ask about your stupid rules for this totally unjust thing. If I have a child with a black woman, does my child get those rights in virtue of being 50%? And if we dilute it down and let's say his mom is already half black, half white, and my kid's only a quarter black, does he get those benefits? How far back into history is justified doing this? Because if we go far back into our ancestry, I can find someone probably along my genealogy somewhere that suffered an injustice. And so should the offspring of those who dealt my ancestor the injustice be responsible for paying an output of money to me? No, because I'm not black. Every single race in the world at some point in history has been made a slave. Individuals from each category. And I understand thoroughly, totally that black people have had an unjust and disenfranchised history in the United States. And I do believe there might be things we can do to help them along. And what we can do is tell them you have all the rights and privileges that we have in the way of opportunity to pursue a life. Life is not just meant, like, all that you're supposed to have is not entirely supposed to be meant to be given to you, especially once you become an adult. You have to chase after it. You have to go after it. And that's why I admire anyone industrious in any group who's willing to take that kind of personal responsibility and go after it. And by golly, I love the way families can have children and offer their children a great start in life. It's no guarantee, but it's a great start being in a strong family with good values. Strong traditional family, nuclear family, mother and father, traditional family roles, men and women, traditional family roles. I believe wholeheartedly in that. Guided by God. But I've been going on this a little bit too long. The point here was to play it because Bill Maher makes a comment here.
Why are you talking against the woke craziness? Because it's crazy. Is it not crazy? They said it would cost every...
It is crazy.
They said it cost, and by the way, San Francisco doesn't have a history of slavery or anything like that, you know. It would cost every citizen left $600,000 each. This is madness, is it not?
You know what political debate I want to see in the season of 2024? Jen Psaki and Bill Maher. She hates the woke. And he does too, but she hates it because they can't fight it. And he hates it because it's going to make them lose.
Oh, man, I'm
100%.
cutting out on this. I did say a lot about this, and I feel strongly about it, and I know that there are people out there who will just attack me. I know that things I've said would just garner the label of racism, which frankly is absurd because this is just not rational thinking. It's running away wildly with some concept of justice, which is not justice at all. What have I for you next? Oh, yes, it's another clip from Bill Maher, only this time it's quite a bit different. Bill Maher does his internet show called Whatchamacallit, and so I will take you over here to this. And it's called Club Random, and he joined with Greg Gutfield here, and let's see, 470, 47, 45 is where I want, about right there. So we'll start out here, and I'm not going to watch this whole clip, obviously.
She spoke Spanish, English, and Russian.
Wow.
He's talking about his wife.
And so then we had our first date in Paris. And
the discussion here is about Greg Gutfield talking about his wife.
it was like in 3 months we were married. I think 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
And
crazy.
it sounds, from the way you tell this story, and actually because you were able to make that joke before, it sounds like it's actually a good marriage.
She has to put up with a lot of shit. I mean, the thing is, she's moved.
Every guy says that.
Yes, dude, exactly. I was going to say that's part of why I wanted to point this out, that that's an indicator of a guy. And as I thought about this honestly, I was thinking, well, if I were in a relationship, I would have to concede that I'm not entirely easy as a person. But this is not me being self-deprecating or what do you call it? I have, there's a word totally slipping my mind, which would be the perfect word to describe what I want to say right now. And it is, it's like self-deprecating, self-debasing. I'm not self-debasing when I say that. I know the extent to which I am a stubborn person. Sometimes I need the other to challenge me, whether it's a friend. I've been married. I've needed to be pushed into things to realize after that it was the right thing to do. But it's also, it cuts two ways here. And what I want to say is men have to put up with a lot of shit too. And not because women suck. This is not about women broadly. It's about any individual you get to know. If you're living with them, if you're building a life with them, you're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have obvious disagreements as you go along. That's just so natural about life. And let's actually hear more of what they're saying here. I want to hear more.
Because it's true.
Every guy I know, like
that's why you're not married, because you know.
It's a little simpy the way you say it, though.
Actually, you know the contract.
Because you're self-abasing a little bit the way you do it. And it's like a big joke, like, ha, she puts up with me. Instead, like I said, I acknowledge I'm not an easy person. And that goes for anyone who would have to live with me, whether it's a platonic relationship or roommate. It's like I have the way I want things, and that's it. I'm sure I'm not even an easy parent in every regard. I know I'm not. I'm not perfect, but I aspire to be good at the things I do. And let's continue with what Greg's saying here.
You know what happens. You've been around a lot of people. You have part of the Gene Simmons kind of gene in your, where it's like, this is what happens when you get married. Everything stops.
Well, I'm not Gene Simmons.
What an example. Speaking of flawed men, like you pick out one of the most flawed men as far as women relating to him, Mr. Screw 2000 Women. I have a love-hate relationship with Gene Simmons from Kiss. I once insulted him. He said something stupid that he caught all kinds of shit for, and I can't remember precisely what it was. But a lot of people got pissed off, including the media, and so I went and said, I put STFU on his Twitter, and he blocked me. And then a day later, he was apologizing for what he said, but he didn't unblock me, and I do want to say STFU for what he said. I wish at the moment, if I brought that story up, I should know what the hell I'm talking about. What the heck was I talking about? He was complaining about people complaining about something, and he was putting it in perspective by saying his mom was in concentration camps during World War II, but that really had nothing to do. It was like trying to justify something with something totally unrelated, because I do think that that is a humbling point to make when someone's in a concentration camp, that you don't realize how good you have it in life until you get freaking seized by your government and they put you in a prison camp. That's mortifying to me. Let's just watch a tiny bit more of this.
Invited a lot of misery into his life by trying to have it both ways.
That's true.
And it makes you miserable. And then it makes you like subservient.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me. I'm not saying.
So it's like he has to be now Gene Simmons has to be this big butt kisser to his wife, because he has this very, very questionable history. It's easy to ridicule his history. He's even admitted men are jackasses, but now you're like, everybody can be a jackass. It's just the built-in human nature, marvelous and eminently flawed. So I'm actually going to wrap this up now because I said what I wanted to say. No man should be simping for his wife, and no wife should take too much of certain kinds of bullshit either. I'm pretty reasonable depending on what the topic is, if you know what I'm saying. So I have something coming up next. What is it? I want to say it's Jedidiah. Ooh, goody, it's Jedidiah. And so one kind of cool thing about this video is that my whole thing here is that I'm virginal with it. I watched it for 20 seconds and I put it aside to watch on this show and comment on it. And so here we go.
And I should say this to all men. My customers are the biggest losers in the world.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Before you even criticize men like that, I'm getting this vibe off of you. Like trouble, red flag, colored hair, no tattoos, amazingly. But you are an OnlyFans chick, right? So red flag immediately. Your customers are losers. It's like, hi, I work on OnlyFans and all my customers are losers. So like, I don't think you can get over the loser hump necessarily. You know, if you're doing therapy on OnlyFans, legitimate therapy, and you're not getting naked and it's not sexual in nature, you might be able to say that's okay. But OnlyFans, given that it's like a den of pay pigs, it's like the modern day contemporary prostitution that's so not worth it because you don't even get the pleasure of the action with the woman. That stinks, dude. That stinks, dude. Back here, let's keep playing. I can't comment too much. I know I have a tendency to do that. It's in my nature to do that. And I swear I'll try not to always do that when it's not necessary. I will just try always to give you the best of me at any given point in time. I want to actually thank my cousin my cousin gave me a gift this morning. He put it on my front porch, gave me a book written by the author God Saad, Parasitic Mind. Is that what it's called? Thank you for that. That brightened my day. I appreciate you did that, dude. So here we go.
Girl will ever like you. You are a loser.
Whatever. I'm not one of your pay
Wait,
pigs.
I'm a financial dominatrix. Men pay me to make fun of them every day. Call them little dick losers. Yeah. You're all little dick losers. If you watch porn, you're a little dick loser. Like, if
and
you
you're
pay
doing
for
it though.
Porn.
But you're saying you're doing it. How can you have that criticism of men when you lower yourself to doing that? Do you see the hypocrisy in what you're saying? They're little dick losers. What are you? What's the descriptive of you when your money that you make, your bread and butter, is making customers of these people you call little dick losers? Yeah, I run a business where I basically perform sexual acts for little dick losers. What does that say about you?
You're a little dick loser. And every girl who does thinks the same of you. Like, I'm sorry, it's just true.
No, she's telling the truth. Wait.
No, I respect the honesty, bro.
Wait, picture it. Can you point toward the camera and say you're a little
That's
dick
honesty.
loser?
Hey, yes.
Say it.
Yes.
It's honesty. It's honesty, but it's like revealing the character of the person here. I mean, like, I'm not getting a good vibe off her, okay? Trouble. Look at her. Trouble. Red Flag City. Talking into an awesome microphone, though. I like the microphone. Babe. Not that you had anything to do with that.
Where's the camera?
Right here.
Okay, and then they go on and on and on. And you know why she's saying this? Because she makes a living, by the way, out of humiliating men. Guys pay her for her to humiliate them. And I will guarantee you she did that show and she walked off there.
It's humiliating. Even if it's not the paying a woman to say something nasty like, oh, you're a pervert, you're whatever. I get that people have those kinks. Just the exchange, the transaction sexually of perform this sex act for me, reveal your body to me, I'm tipping you in order to do this, that, or the other thing. That in and of itself is demeaning
Got money.
and loserish. So whether her job is specifically like call guys dirty names to get them off, she's calling guys names to get them off for money. Does that make her any less of a loser? How do we measure whether it makes her more of a loser or less of a loser than those guys that she's doing it with? And I love it. Jedidiah, always speaking the wisdom. Thank you, woman.
These simpy guys at home that are like, tell me I'm a loser.
Oh my God, you did it publicly?
Right, exactly. You did it. You get an extra $20. Can you do it again? Can you do it more?
I can't say the things on here that turn me on when women speak a certain way, and I'm like, it would be too tacky. If I have a very close personal relationship and we see eye to eye on these things, I'll be like, ooh, say this. But it's not humiliating. You're a loser. I don't want to be called a loser. You know, she can say things that build me up to make me feel great in the context of a sexual act. That sounds good to me. You don't have to go to be demeaned when there are a million positive ways you can enjoy your sex life. And if it only works in the one way, I would say you have some kind of mental disorder, some kind of serious issue.
Look at the camera like you did on Fresh and Fit. You know, there's guys that are just lost, you know, but she's telling you the truth. Yeah. And they say it all the time. These women will say directly, guys, to your face, you're a loser if you spend money. And then what do? You go, not all of you, but there are some of you that go and spend that money. Do not spend money on women unless you're dating them. And this is a woman who appreciates you, who deserves that money, who deserves that time.
So wise.
I'm all for spending money on a quality woman.
Notice
I'm
I
all
did
for
the
it.
kiss to
I
your
am
cheek.
not all for guys
and not on your
going
lips.
bankrupt, sitting on OnlyFans,
Yes,
giving
what a
their
waste.
cash to women who are
Depressing
outright
waste.
telling you they don't give a you know what about you. You got to wake up. You got to spend that money
they
on
don't
the
give a
gym.
horse's
Spend
ass
that money
shit.
on some good quality food.
When
to
she
put-
says you're a loser, she's mean in what she's saying. So you're a loser in virtue of the fact that you're doing what you're doing, for God's sake. Horrendous, man. Men, man up. Be better.
your freezer and your refrigerator, spend that money on, trips to go spend time with your family, spend that money on leveling up and, taking some online programs to perfect your skill. That's where you spend that money. They're telling you in their own words. And by the way, guys who watch the pornography, I'm telling you, even if you're just watching it for free, your girl finds out about that, a high-value woman's going to be like, I'm out. That's
Understood.
unattractive. So I'm just telling
Makes
you
sense.
straight up, it's not an attractive trait. It's a very low value.
I am willing to give all of myself to a woman who is beautiful and wonderful, and I am able and willing to put all that away completely for her. Yes, I will.
You trait. You got to break that cycle. That's why all these red pill guys, by the way, are saying break that cycle because they
Yes.
know how unattractive it is to
Yes.
women.
I
If
have
you
a
like a
problem
short
though with what you're saying. There's one last thing I want to bring up, and it's really not meant to be crass. But what about not looking at pornography, but releasing yourself independently? Because honest to God, this is not meant to be perverse, but if I go 7, 21, or 7, 14 or 21 days without releasing, I swear my prostate, something gets weird, or I don't know if that's healthy. Like, I keep hearing how it's good to have a release once in a while for longevity, the sake of your health long term, but I just think it messes up the plumbing down there is what I'm saying. I'm not used to talking about this, and I'm having backwash, and it's interrupting my speaking as well. But so a woman, is she going to be upset if her man masturbates? I used to be in a relationship where the attitude was she wanted me to masturbate before I go out with friends because then I wouldn't have the urge to do it with other women. And I got plenty from her in the duration of the relationship so that I wasn't feeling like, oh, she's not giving it to me. Basically, there was a duration where it was like, if I wanted it, I could get it. And that was appreciated. But so masturbation. Is it demeaning to masturbate to get that release? And I'm also asking, not just in the sense of I'm a pervert and I want to masturbate because I enjoy it, but because of the way it's good for the prostate. Yeah, it's about the prostate, see? Gotta milk that thing to keep it healthy. Wink. And not milk it by way of entering the exit that is nearby. That is only an exit, and I'm proud to say that it has only been an exit in my life. I've never experimented in gross ways with my bottom, in any sense of the word. No lips hath touched my bottom, no other objects hath penetrated my bottom, except in due course with medical procedures. That is the truth. And I won't get into that, because that was gnarly. That was disgusting. I had a good time here today. I have another 5-minute video from Rollo, but I know that will put me well over the hour mark, and I don't want to do that. So I'm actually going to start wrapping up here. If you like what I'm doing, I appreciate you saying so. Engage with me in the comments. Like the video. Share the videos. I am going to get up on Rumble. That's what I want to do. I want to have a community here. I'm not giving up hope just because I have very few downloads and people watching. It's okay. I'm working on the quality of it. I'm trying to improve things, make it better all the time for you, me, and everyone who enjoys it. I appreciate everyone enjoying it here. You know what I'm saying? It's about the right length. I like the 55-minute length for it. It's cool. Thank you, everyone. I will see you probably Monday or Tuesday. Peace be with you all. Mwah.